is here. We are redefining what it means to sit at the girls' table.
Hey guys, my name's Alana, also known as Trading Female, and today I will be your host for the girls' table. And today is the first episode. Woo! Let's go.
How exciting.
So exciting. Steph, thank you so much for coming. I brought on Steph because I feel like for the first one, you guys actually had to get to know me and who I am, both as Alana and Trading Female. So Steph, first off, thanks so much for coming today.
Yeah, I'm excited to interview you. I've been following you for a while, and I know you've been tweeting a lot about this podcast, so I'm excited. This is the first episode. I'm honored to be interviewing you for this.
Yeah, thank you so much for agreeing. I feel like usually in the future, I'll be interviewing people. So obviously we're going to share your story coming up in the future. So get ready for that.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like there's a lot that I'm genuinely curious about learning from you. So hopefully everyone listening or watching this can learn some new stuff. I think we're going to dive into some cool stuff. Are we ready to get started?
I think we should just dive in.
Just dive right in. Okay, all right. So just first, curious on your background, just a little bit about you. How did you even get into the space? How did you get on Twitter? Tell us about your journey in Web3.
Oh God, there's so much unfolding. Okay, so I guess I started out in tech sales. I used to do strategy at both KPMG and Deloitte. Then I switched over to tech sales. And on the side is when I started getting into Web3. So, wow, I'm really, it's like a loaded question.
When was that? What year was that?
So I got into Web3. I was investing in crypto for about 2 years. And then I got my first NFT back in June of 2021.
Oh, what was it?
Yeah, so my friend worked at the art gallery. I don't know if you've heard of Bright Moments out in Venice. And now they had one in New York. Not sure if you heard of that one, but
I haven't.
Basically, you would go in and you would mint IRL. So you would pick a song and then you'd go ahead. It was free at the time. You just had to pay gas fees. And so I got this girl that looked just like me when I did it. At least I told myself it looked like me. It had rainbow hair. I don't have rainbow hair, but it had a white dress, and I was like, okay, that kind of looks like me. It was a girl. I'm like, this is dope. And I spent $40 on gas, and I'm like, I don't get it. Why didn't I just go buy a dinner? This is great. This is cool. But then I just sat in my wallet, and I was like, all right, sounds good. I don't know what this thing is, so.
Wait, was that a crypto Venetian?
Yeah. That was crypto Venetian, but
yes,
yeah, the gallery is called Bright Moments.
Got you. Yeah, you rocked that profile pic on Twitter for a very long time. And even you're kind of known for taking pictures in real life and then putting your character, your crypto Venetian, in the pictures as well. And that always cracks me up when you do that.
I really just posted one before this of us getting ready for the pod. But yeah, I just switched mine for the first time, for the U collection of BFF. And it hurt me to switch. I was like, oh no, what's going to happen to my crypto Venetian? But I still posted it, so.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I remember you by. Okay, before we get, because I definitely want to also ask you about you by BFF, but okay, so backtracking into your journey, this was a side hustle, is getting into Web3. I guess what kind of made you actually want to full-time go into Web3 versus maybe this is just a side passion?
Yeah, so June is when I got my first one. And then August, my boyfriend was pressuring me. He's like, you really got to get on Twitter. Twitter's awesome. It's so cool. And so that day, I met up with my friend who worked at Bright Moments. And I was like, what is this thing? I have this NFT in my wallet. What's the use cases? We spent 4 hours at the beach in LA. And I was just like, why do I care about this? I'm starting to hear it more and more. And then suddenly I went back. I'm like, okay, it kind of looks like me. It's in a dress, whatever. I'm going to be the first IRL NFT. And so really that same day, I went around Venice and started taking pictures of my crypto Venetian and becoming the IRL NFT. So that was my story of how I started on Twitter. And then that was back in August. Then slowly I started getting a following. And I was spending like a lot of my free time on Twitter Spaces. And then NFT New York City was coming, and I was like, I gotta go. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I don't know who I'm gonna meet. And my friend was like, it's gonna change your life. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And NFT New York City changed my life.
Wow, so, NFT NYC, which that was like the first like really big NFT event, I feel like, for a lot of the community.
Oh my God, it was huge. I met you there, which is awesome.
Wait, what? We met?
We have a picture.
How do I not remember that? Oh, it's so embarrassing. Oh, we have a picture? You should send that to me. I feel like I don't...
I look awful in it, but I'll send it to you.
Wait, were you outside eating pizza with your friend?
I was not eating pizza. I'm gluten-free.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking you're the wrong person. Okay, that's just straight up embarrassing.
It was at the RSOP event, if that helps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the rooftop event, right?
Yeah, but you don't remember seeing me there. But
okay, I met so many people at that event. I think that it's probably just a blur.
Yeah, too funny.
Okay, wow. Okay, so did you have an aha moment for cryptoids and NFTs where you're like, okay, this all makes sense now. Like, this is why I'm like getting into the space.
So I would say when I went to the beach with my friend, I kept asking like the use cases, but I think like everybody has this moment, and mine was there when I was like, wait, I kind of understand everything's on the blockchain. Like, now you have digital ownership of pictures, so it's not like you go on Google and you don't know who owns it. It's all traceable. So that was my moment. But I think for anybody, like even after that moment, it really takes time to understand the use cases and why people really go ahead and really buy these NFTs. So I would say though, at that moment was when I was like, all right, like I'm going to make my PFP, my crypto Venetian. I'm going to be the IRL NFT, and I'm going to start investing more in the space.
Nice. And so, yeah, speaking of investing, so now you're working with a Web3 VC. Can you kind of talk about that and how it's been?
Yeah. So at NFT New York City, I met Drew Austin, who's a managing partner over at Redbeard Ventures. And he was like, hey, if you start sourcing deals, I'll give you carry. I was like, okay, let's do it. So on the side, mixed with me on Twitter all the time on Twitter Spaces, I was also sourcing deals for him. So I met with like MoonPay CEO who ghosted me, but that's fine. Like it happens in VC.
If they're listening to this right now.
Yeah, it's fine. He's a great guy. We grabbed coffee. Ivan, yeah, maybe next time answer, but it's fine. He's doing awesome stuff at MoonPay. But I met with a couple others, and at the end of the day, late last year, he was like, okay, do you want to come on full time? So I was like, yes, let's do it. And at the same time, I actually also got introduced to Jamie from BFF. But I finally decided, I just got promotion at work, and I was like, you know what, like VC is my dream job. I get to talk to companies all day. I get to look at things specifically in the Web3 space, and I decided to take the leap. So if I hadn't gone to NFT New York City and met Drew, I still would be probably doing tech sales at a startup out in LA.
Wow. So go to in real life events is the secret alpha, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me, like, how did you jump into VC? And I would say one of the things that really helped me was one, networking, and that was going to those IRL events. But another one was doing the job before I had the job. So I feel like a lot of jobs you could kind of help on the side. Like everybody needs help. And for me, it was sourcing deals. And I think by doing that, I showed him that, hey, I talk to the top tier companies. I understand the space and I could get you allocation to invest in. And so that made it, when he was looking for an associate, it made me the person that he thought of when he was looking to hire. So those are two things that I definitely did to be able to jump into VC.
I love that advice, and I honestly give that all the time too, because like that's how I got my start. Like I started for free, I was volunteering, you know, and it's like it's a great way to get your foot in the door, especially if you don't have any experience like prior. Which I was kind of gonna ask you that, like for people who they really want to be involved in the space, but like they don't have any experience. Like let's just say they just got out of college, or you know they just been working kind of like me. I was just serving a restaurant, like, and it's like, okay, how do I like catapult myself into like a career in Web3? Like, is there any advice on like a starting point with no experience?
So the first thing is like, I think we both have like a great following on Twitter, and for me, it was honestly starting on Twitter. I feel like it's opened up so many doors. And if you're new to Web3, I feel like it's the best place to network, to meet people, and to learn. And so I would say start and then just like dive in. Like, you're never going to know everything. I mean, even this podcast, I could make 2 million excuses not to start it. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to begin and you have to take the leap and take a chance. And so with people who are new to the space and just trying to dive in, I'd say just start and start connecting with people because you never know the opportunities that come from that. And then there's a famous quote, I forget who said it, but it's like, say yes to everything. And when I first came in space, I said yes. Like, somebody needs something, yes. You want me on Twitter space? Yes, like, I'll be there. And then it's like, after a while, once you really get your footing, start saying no to everything because you just flat out don't have the time. And so coming in, it was like, yes, I'll be in your Twitter space. You want to start an NFT project? Let's go. Like, I'm going to start one with you. And then I was like, I really think I had this like breakdown of just like, oh my God, I have no time. I'm doing a full-time job. I'm sourcing deals. I'm on Twitter Space, getting in trouble for work for being on Twitter Spaces. And like, it was this whole thing. And then finally I'm like, okay, what do I really want? And I like mapped it out. But for new people starting out, I mean, say yes to it all. Like, there's so many opportunities. People say we're still so early because we're all just trying to figure it out. And I think the best way is just kind of dive right in.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when you have nothing to lose, it's like, just go ham on it, you know? And then to your point
100%.
of when you have a lot of stuff going on, it's like, oh my God, I really have to say no a lot. And I'm sure you do too, because it's like, everyone's always asking things for you, especially when you build, that does come with the territory of building your following, right? You get a lot of people asking, oh, hey, can you host this Twitter space for me? Can you do this and that? It's like, it's so many asks. Like, once you start, I feel like getting more attention.
I would 100% agree. It's so funny. So I went to NFT New York City and I had to take off work, but I was still working in tech sales. My boss knew. They were supportive-ish. She's like, listen, you want to do this. And then that Monday coming back, I had this really important, great opportunity to do a Twitter space. And my boss had followed me and I didn't know he was anonymous. So it's not like I could go and block him. We're friends, by the way. But then he basically, I leave the Twitter space. I'm working. He texts me. He's like, that was completely unacceptable because it was 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is like 5 p.m. Eastern time. And even my parents were like, Alana, we hear your voice. Like, you love Web3. Like, you love everything about it. You spent all your time in it. You need to just make the jump. Like, you're lying to yourself by not making the jump and by trying to do it with your full-time job. And so it was a whole thing, but I think it was in a way a blessing because it really made me sit down with myself and be like, okay, I'm trying to balance it all. I really like tech sales. I'm really good at it, but I also love Web3 and I would spend all day talking to people about NFTs, crypto investing if I could. And that's when I really started being like, I just went to NFT New York City. I just got in trouble with my work for doing a Twitter space at 2 p.m. Like, how do I do Web3 that I love like all the time?
Right. So then what gave you the courage to like quit, or did you get fired from that?
No, I actually got a promotion. So I was really good at sales, but I got in trouble. Definitely. It was like, when I was going through the interviews to get promotion, they were like, Alana, our one concern is we see how you're getting a following and we see how deep you are in Web3 and how all you want to do is talk to other people at work about Web3. Like, do you actually want this? And I was like, yes, I want this. I want it. I really got the promotion over winter break. And at the same time, spoke to Drew Austin about Redbeard. And he was like, okay, like, I'm looking at hiring somebody. And that was when I was like, yes, like I get to work at a VC. I get to be in Web3. And I finally got to follow my passion. But it was definitely an interesting time. But I think I knew deep down that like I always wanted to be in Web3.
Yeah. Okay. So you quit your job, right? You're not still working?
I work at Redbeard Ventures, but not the tech sales. No, I stopped that. It feels like a decade ago, at least in this space, but it was late last year, early this year.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about you by BFF, right? Because that project, I actually currently am rocking it as my PFP. I like really love that project. Like I love the aesthetic, I love the colors, I love colors in general. So like that.
I see your background too. Like mine's white and I'm wearing black, and you're like tie-dye pink. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a colorful human. I love colors. But anyway, You by BFF, I actually found out about that project because of your tweet, and then I bought one immediately because of you. So like
Let's go.
Yeah, I have you to thank for finding one that I really liked. Yeah, tell us about the project and how did you even get involved with them?
Okay, so I feel like none of my answers are short. Just like, oh, this is how, let's go. But Jamie was speaking out at Launch House in LA, and I didn't know really who she was. I've seen Chris, seen Jamie a little bit, and Chris had tweeted, like, I have some extra spots I'm speaking at. I was like, sure, I'd love to go. So I went, I was in the back, I could barely hear them. Like, I couldn't hear a word they were saying. They were talking about CPG. I didn't even know what CPG was at the time. I was like,
what is CPG?
It's their crypto package good, so it's their NFT. They actually just had their second drop yesterday.
Word.
Yeah, there's too many projects. I can't keep up. But they had started it together, and so I left. And then that same week, Jamie actually tweeted, and she's like, hey, I'm looking to have a photo shoot in LA with women in Web3. And I was like, oh, I'd love to come. Really, this is the same week that I had just gotten in trouble with work about doing a Twitter space. I was thinking about doing like a sick day. Finally, last minute, I was like, too funny. But I was like, okay, I can't go. Like, I just got in trouble. I can't take off more work. Think of an excuse. I'm not going to go. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she's like, hey, I'm actually looking for somebody to start this Twitter account. Like, would you want to talk? I love your tweets. Like, I think you have a great vibe. And I was like, I really wrote back, like, honestly, happy to hop on a phone, but no, like, I'm not interested. I'm trying to get into VC. And so we hopped on phone, and she showed me this deck about what they're trying to do, bring more women in the space, educate them. Right away, I was like, yes. I went on the phone. She was like, this was the quickest interview that I've ever had. And so I started working with them. I was their first hire. It was January 3rd that I started, the same exact week that I started with Redbeard. And I just started tweeting with them. I just actually stopped working for them last week. But I ran their whole Twitter account up until January. It had like 20 followers at the time, and now it has like 68,000. And I would host all of their Twitter spaces with their founding BFFs. So I had like Rebecca Minkoff last week. I had Sandy Carter from Unstoppable. Like, they had some great people. And I'm an obsessive BFF. It's probably one of my biggest holding projects. I bought so many on secondary too.
How many do you have? Oh, whale alert.
I only have 2 of the bracelets, but I have like 10 maybe of the U, maybe a few more. But I don't usually, I'm one of those people where even though they say buy more than one NFT, I'm like, nah, I just need one. And then it like, I don't usually buy the like 5 or more or whatever people say. So,
are you a secret whale? I feel like, do you have a lot of NFTs?
No, I'm not a secret whale. No, not a secret whale at all. I wish. Okay. No, sadly. Are you?
Maybe. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm honestly, no.
Ask unless you were. No.
I don't know. Like, what does whale even mean? I have like on my OpenSea, I have like over 300 NFTs there, and then like I collected Top Shot a lot, so I have like over 300 Top Shot moments, but I don't think I'm considered a whale. I feel like whale is like if you have like thousands of NFTs. Or
you're like verified on OpenSea. I'm like, I'm just trying to get verified on Twitter. Yeah. I only have, I think like I only have 120, I think. And I say only, and I'm like, that's still not little, but.
Yeah, and how many of those went to 0?
Oh my God. Really, my first NFT that I got rugged, I actually like hid. I was like, this hurts.
Really? Oof. Wait, what was it?
Did you see it? I think it's called like El Camino.
No.
Oh my God, I bought it for like 0.6. And at the time, like even now, that's
0.6?
Yeah, like 0.6,
oh my God,
like
that's a solid
pre-reveal. If you look at the chart, like I don't think it ever shows that it went that high. Like I don't know how I bought it for this high.
You got scammed.
Oh, 100%. And then I like look and it's at like 0.001. I should just sell it for tax reasons, but yeah.
But probably nobody's buying it because then you have to pay more in gas. Like 0.001 costs more in gas to buy it, right?
True. Maybe if I just send it to your wallet. I'm like, here you go.
Send it to me. Oh yeah, my wallet's a garbage can. Yeah, I'll take it.
Too funny. But yeah, it's been a crazy road. Because when did you buy your first NFT?
Actually, CryptoKitties in 2017 was my first NFTs. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But then I was such a newbie that I never really learned. I just started getting into the space. And I took this crypto course, so I was learning about crypto, but I didn't know anything about NFTs. And I didn't write down my seed phrase. I thought I could just email reset my password. I was like, you can email reset, right? That's every website. Duh. Why would I write down these words? And I don't know. I just never saved them. And then years later, right? Because I forgot about it. The crash happened and it was everyone forgot about crypto. And then 2020 comes around and I'm like, I wonder what happened to my CryptoKitties. And I tried to find the website and I ran into Dapper Labs website. And that's how we discovered Top Shot. October 2020, the first day or two that they opened the public beta. So I got lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, your sister, Jenny, actually gave me my first Top Shot. I only have
really?
one. It's that one, yeah.
Wait, were you the one who had tweeted out and you were I don't know. I feel like I remember that.
You could have remembered it. But yeah, she gave me my first one.
That's awesome. Wow. Do you still have it?
I still have it, of course.
Okay, good. Because that is savage if you would have sold it.
Oh, no. I feel like if it's a gift, I never sell. I'm also such a hodler. I'm very few I actually sell.
Really? So you just buy and hold most of your NFTs?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's
not
me
a
too.
good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot of work, right? Keeping up with the space and okay, when's a good time to sell? I don't know.
It's also so hard to time it. I sold these two actually recently for 4 ETH each. And I was like, that's awesome, whatever. Even with the crash, the floor is at 6 right now. Within the same day, I think I just got so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to sell it at the floor. One of mine was rare-ish and I should have just waited. But I was 4 ETH for these random ones. I was like, yes, I just want to get out. So
well, good for you though. I mean, if you made profit, right? Profit's profit.
Oh, 100%. And you just can't time it here. Yeah.
I feel you. I sold my Cool Cat way back in the day. I thought, oh, it's it was at a local top. At the time I sold it for 6.69 and I had bought it for 0.69. So 6/8 profit, right? And I was like, oh, I'm probably never going to be able to buy back into Cool Cats, only up from here. But now Cool Cats is under what I sold it for 6 months ago. I'm like, okay, I genuinely could buy back in if I wanted to. I don't know. That would be all my ETH. I'm not very liquid, so.
Yeah, I'm not really liquid either. Especially in this market, I don't think anybody's liquid, realistically.
Yeah. I don't know. But okay, tell us about the girls' table. I want to hear. This is the podcast. This is what it's called, right? The girls' table. What is your vision for this, and kind of how do you see this podcast playing out?
Yeah, so the girls' table all came because I actually planned a dinner with the co-founders of Glow Lab, so Renee, Annie, and then Debbie from Hug. And we did an IRL event during NFT LA, and it was great. We had about 25 women. It was absolutely amazing, from creators, investors, kind of the whole group of people. And anyway, after, I was like, wow, I really want to do this again. There was something special there. People are ready to get together IRL. They want to get together, they want to speak, and I want to get women together. And I've always kind of had in my Twitter bio, empowering women to be financially independent. And anyway, so after, and I've been talking about doing a podcast, I told them, I was like, we should plan more events, especially with Debbie. And I was like, let's do more. I think it'll be really important. So we've been looking for sponsors. And then on the side, we were like, what do we call it? And we're sitting at coffee one day, and I'm like, I just always find myself at the guys' table. I think they're always talking about stuff that's interesting. They're talking about investing. They're talking about where they're putting their money, their jobs, how much they're making. And then I go over to the girls, and a lot of times, and not always, obviously, it's talking about drama or where they're going out or the boy and whatever the case may be. And I just always find myself sitting with the guys. And finally, I'm like, that's the name, the girls' table. And the whole point is to redefine what it means to sit at the girls' table. And that's by having IRL events and also virtual events where podcasts and all revolves around meaningful conversations. And I'm just kind of ready for women to step up, women to have a voice, and really to have these conversations that will help us all grow.
I love that. I love that so much. And it kind of reminded me of why I started my ladies' nights events, because I'm I genuinely love hanging out with other women. I don't know. I'm not the type to be friends with a lot of guys. Like, I'm really not. I just like relate to women so much more. And so like, I don't know. I love that you started this. I just love the girls table. I love the concept, the idea, and I'm excited to, I feel like I'm going to listen to a lot of these episodes too. So.
Oh, well, you have to listen to this one. You're in it.
Well, yeah, obviously, right?
I also have to go to one of your events. They're always on Saturdays. And I'm like, I really want to go. But
Well, I'll change them up every once in a while. I have taken a break for like 2 months, I want to say, because I really like have been trying to like focus on in real life stuff versus like online. And it's like, I don't know, it's a lot. And I was feeling really overwhelmed and burnt out like a couple months ago. And I'm like, I need to make some big changes in my life. I need to like pause things for a second and like focus on myself. And so this is actually like my first like in like 2 months, my first like podcast that I've done in a while. So thanks for bringing me back.
I feel honored. I think we were even tweeting at each other because I think we were both feeling the burnout at the same time.
Yeah.
We're like, that's kind of why I love part of the Girls Table is that IRL events. But I think there's just so much noise in the space. As we were saying in the beginning, like when you get to a certain point, like everybody wants you for something. Like I always have a DM being like, just come on our Twitter space. We'd love to have you. And I could just sit there scrolling like my whole day and I'm with you. I'm like, wait, I love the IRL events. Are you going to VCon, by the way? That's it.
No, my sister's hosting like 5 panels at VCon though. They invited her to do that. So like I'll be living vicariously through like her, like if she films and all that. I think she's going to film a vlog. But no, I'm not going to VCon, so...
Damn, I'm actually speaking too. Yeah.
Oh, you are?
So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I wish you were going now.
I know. Well, I'll be in New York for NFT NYC, so
yeah, that's what I was thinking though. I'm like, I feel like people are, and I felt this way last year at NFT New York City. Like people were just ready to get out, get together, and just start kind of meeting and having that networking in real life.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm so ready to, I feel like in real life too, it like weeds out, like, you know, on Twitter, it's often all the noisy, like, and sometimes it's not the best quality, like it's a lot of shit posting as they call it, but it's like in real life events, like, you know, the people are more serious, people are like more friendly, it's all the extroverts going, like it's just, it's something special, I feel like the trolls, like those people aren't going to these events, you know, all the people that go to in real life events are like the cool people, I feel like.
I 100% agree with that. I just think like there's just something different when you meet people in person versus like just being on Twitter space or tweeting at somebody. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. So what about people? So your thing is for women, and I know you had touched on a point about like it can be intimidating, and especially, you know, coming into this space, and sometimes you feel like, oh, crypto, it's just a bunch of crypto bros, and it's like that's not even true. But like it takes more people like you to like, you know, cultivate environments to make people feel comfortable. So like, let's just say, you know, someone's wanting to get into this space. They kind of just been eyeballing it. I have several friends who are like this, and it's like they're barely dipping their toe in the water, but they're scared because it could be scary. You know, do you have any like advice for those people?
So I think I touched on this a little before, but like the first thing to do is just to try. Like at the end of the day, the hardest thing is going to be that first step of when you go into the water. Then you feel it and you're like, wait, it's not that bad. Like it's really not. So I would say just try. And then one thing and why I love BFF so much is it is helping with that onboarding of women into the space. And there's so many people who reach out to me being like, this was my first NFT. Like this is awesome. And so I think for people, it's like, buy your first. Like, I'm not saying spend thousands of dollars, get a World of Women, get a Women Tribe, or even a BFF. I'm saying, like, just get something so that you understand the process of, like, going in, minting, losing on gas fees. And then you slowly are like, then you question everything going on. So then you're like, okay, what did I just spend money on? What is this? And at least that's what it took for me. I mean, I had my first. It sat in my wallet for 2 months. In order for me to really step up and be like, okay, let me question this. Like, let me ask myself, why is this important? Why are companies jumping into NFTs? Like, what is this thing? So I'd say for everybody that you need to be curious and continue to stay curious and then actually act on that curiosity. And you'll probably lose money in the space. I think we've all lost money. You might also make some money, but it's like you won't know unless you try. And I feel like in the beginning, especially, I spent money to learn, and that was more than enough for me.
So true. I feel like you got to go into it like having a stash of money that you're like, you're paying for your education, basically. Do not expect to get rich quick, because I feel like that's where people go wrong, is that they like think they're gonna like get rich quick and then like get burned, and they're like, oh dang it, but like their goal was wrong. It's like your goal should be to learn, and that way if you do get burned, you're like, okay, well, you know, that was a learning lesson. Like what can I do from here, right?
Oh, and also in this space, it's like if things look too good to be real, chances are it is too good to be real. Like, it's not like that was a mess up. It's like, no, you're probably getting scammed, or like just take a step back and question what you're doing, because I don't know. That's when like I've gotten not scammed, but like very close to being scammed. It's like, oh wait, something's minting right now. Like, let me jump in, or you get a Discord message and things like that, especially in the beginning, where it's like, okay, take a step back, like question what's happening, and then jump in.
Yeah. Speaking of taking a step back, I'm curious, like, outside of Web3 and NFTs, like, what are you, like, interested in? Have you developed any new passions or hobbies, or has Web3 just completely taken over everything?
Well, Web3 does. I feel like it's like, it takes over everything. But on the side, I actually do tennis with my friends. So once a week we take tennis lessons. I'm still absolutely awful, but I would say like I'm a beginner intermediate. So, and then I would say also like this, like even though it's talking about Web3, it's like I find it really fun to just have conversations with women and people who are building in the space and just kind of getting their story out. And then I probably also just do Pilates like every day. It's like
Pilates?
my way. Yeah,
Oh,
I do
snap.
reformer. It's like my way of like getting out and like actually doing something. What about yourself?
I love that. First of all, shout out to Pilates. I've done it a few times. It's hard. It's definitely not easy. You have to be physically fit.
It's hard. Yeah.
You have to be physically fit for that. But yeah, I've been getting into rock climbing, actually, indoor rock climbing.
Wait,
yeah.
that sounds really. Are there a lot of places?
So like where I live, and I don't want to disclose where I live.
Yeah, I was
but,
gonna say, don't say it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but like there's one so close to me, like a rock climbing gym, and like it's walking distance, and I've just been going to that multiple times a week. It is such a cool place, so underrated to like hang out, and like the environment is amazing. I would highly recommend it to anyone.
Wait, that kind of sounds really fun. I love activities. Like, I think we all need to get out a little bit more and do new things. So honestly, I might go and try that.
I'm trying to get a New York group together to all go for one of the days.
Don't they have one in like Brooklyn, I'm pretty sure, or
Oh,
something?
they have them everywhere. Yeah, they're really popular. Like people just you just don't know about it until you like look it up. But like yeah, rock climbing gyms are everywhere. Pretty much.
Yeah, when I was younger, I think like people would have their birthday party at like a rock climbing gym. So like,
Birthday party.
there was really some people that maybe because I'm from New Jersey, so like not that much happens over there. But I don't know.
Word. That's nice. I've also been getting into like my creative side. So I started learning the piano like a couple months ago. Actually, like 3 months ago now, and it's been so calming and relaxing and like very therapeutic.
Wait, I love that. That's so fun.
I know. I don't have a piano, but my apartment has a piano, and I'm like, am I allowed to play that? And they're like, yeah, because like nobody does ever. You know, obviously most people don't use most of the amenities, but they're like, yeah, you can play it. And so I just on YouTube, you know, look up tutorials, and like I just follow along. I didn't start with the basics. I didn't learn the notes. I just looked up one song that I wanted to learn and like started playing it. And it's been
Okay,
like, really
wait.
nice.
Now I need to see your piano skills.
Okay, I should post. I posted like one video when I first started. I should post a progress video because I made some progress.
Yeah, can you post it? I really want to see now.
Okay, let me write this down. Let me write this down.
Yeah, gotta remember this.
Yeah, seriously. Post piano playing video. Okay, no pressure or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like having passions outside of Web3, it can be. It's nice because it can be overwhelming when there's like your whole life is consumed by one, you know, industry.
Oh, definitely. And I think like anybody would say like you could really spend all day and like still you will not know like half the things happening in the space. Like it just moves so quick and there's always something to know that like I think people need hobbies outside of just Web3.
Hashtag people need hobbies.
Yes, it's trending.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Last question. I feel like I covered everything but tell me if there is something that you wanted to cover that I missed.
No, this was amazing. Thank
Okay. All right. My last question is, any last words to anyone who listened to this whole episode through and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited for the Girls Table podcast. Like, what do you have to say to those people?
First, like, I'm just starting out. Like, we're just starting out. So would love to hear any feedback, like, very open to it. If there's anything that you want to know, want to learn, like, feel free to DM me, message, comment. And I would just say if you're scared to try anything, whether that's investing in Web3 or whether it's something completely outside of Web3, whether it is a new hobby, like we talked about, it's rock climbing, like, who knows? Like, try something new. I think, like, I love questioning myself sometimes and being like, when was the last time I did something for the first time? And for me, it's this podcast right now. But like, usually it takes a little bit for me to really think about something that I've done. And so I think if you're thinking about doing something that you haven't done, like, just go out there and try it, because like, what do you have to lose?
I love that. Try new things. Try something new today. If you're listening to this right now and you still have some time left, try something new for the first time. I like that.
Yes, Steph and Alana, we're telling you right here. So
yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Alana, thank you for inviting me to interview you. I seriously like learned so much about you. This is a really fun episode.
Oh my God, Steph, thank you so much for spending your Sunday hopping on with me and coming to the girls' table. Thanks so much.
Ooh, yeah, thank you everyone for listening.
Okay, talk to you guys soon.